The suspicious death of a 27-year-old Orlando woman. Sasha Samsudean's body was found Saturday night inside of her apartment at Uptown Place on North Orange Avenue. Right now, police are not releasing many details, but friends and neighbors say they were stunned to hear about it.
Typical girl, just nice, fun-loving girl. She wasn't too boastful, too loud. Just nice, quiet type. She seemed to get along with everybody.
I guess kind of nervous because we don't really know how she was killed or if we should be concerned that there's someone dangerous living in our building.
She was a graduate of Seminole High School in Sanford. Police are asking anyone who was in the area of North Orange Avenue and Mark Street early Saturday morning to please call them.
Surveillance pictures. This is one of the in her apartment in downtown.
Friends and family of this 27-year-old are still suffering from this loss as investigators work around the clock. They are still trying to track down the person who did this. Fox 35's Andrea Jackson is live. She is outside the Uptown Place apartments on North Orange Avenue. Good morning, Andrea.
Good morning to Amy and John. The last time friends saw Sasha was Friday night. She returned home here to her Uptown Place apartments just before 2 a.m. where she was in the hallway caught by a security camera.
It's very sad, and our biggest thing is we really do want to solve this, and I hope that anyone that sees this picture and that can recognize her that night, just to please give us a call.
Orlando police are still trying to piece together clues following the murder of 27-year-old Sasha Samsudean. She was found inside her locked apartment Saturday night following a well-being check after friends couldn't get a hold of her. Investigators say it doesn't look like anyone forced their way into her Uptown Place apartment with a keypad locked door. Neighbors are concerned.
Is it someone who's going around killing females? Is it just a crime of passion? It could be anything. We just want more detail.
We spoke to her friend Alonda Jackson, who attended Seminole High School with Sasha.
Everyone's very shocked and saddened, as I know that her beautiful parents are beside themselves right now at such a loss. And all of the girls that I've spoken to that know her, they loved her very much, and they are very saddened by these events.
Anyone with information with regard to seeing Sasha Friday night, either out or in her apartment building, is asked to call the Orlando Police Department or Crime Line.
On October 17th, Sasha Samsudean was found murdered in her apartment. Today, our detectives have arrested Stephen Duxbury, the security guard from Uptown Apartments, in connection with this case. Stephen Duxbury is charged with first-degree murder, sexual battery, and burglary to an occupied dwelling. As a security guard, he used his access to prey on someone who was very vulnerable. Our hearts go out to Sasha's family. Our thoughts and prayers are with them, and we hope that this will bring a little bit of closure or start the process of closure for this family.
The chief said Stephen Duxbury was a security officer working for Uptown Place. He took advantage of a vulnerable person, and we truly feel sorrow and sadness for Sasha's family. She was a young, beautiful, vibrant woman, loved by her friends and her community in the prime of her life, and it definitely takes a toll.
Ugly crime inside her otherwise spotless apartment.
Yeah, discovery released in that case today shows the evidence police gathered to lead them to their suspect, Stephen Duxbury, the very security guard hired to protect the residents here at Uptown Place. Police started gathering evidence inside Sasha Samsudean's neat and tidy apartment after finding her lifeless body in her bed October 17th. Pictures show a clean and organized home, but things like this lifted toilet seat in a single woman's apartment did not add up. Duxbury, the security guard on site, told officers he'd seen Sasha alive and intoxicated the night she died, but insisted he never went inside her apartment. In a polygraph test with investigators, they asked Duxbury again if he entered her apartment that night. His response, a no, indicated deception. That cannot be presented before a jury as evidence, but his fingerprint found on her lifted toilet seat can. Beside her bed, they found shoe prints that did not belong to the 27-year-old victim. victim. Detectives asked Duxbury to provide shoes he wore the night she died, and he gave them these. They did not match the prints in her home, but when detectives served a search warrant on Duxbury's messy apartment days later, they found these shoes, which turned out to be a match for the shoe prints near Sasha's bed, where they also found a condom wrapper. Perhaps most chilling, during the course of their investigation, detectives photographed Duxbury in his security uniform. They noted scratches and bite marks that they believe are defense wounds left behind by a young woman trying to fight off her attacker.
Sasha Samsudean's body was found rolled up in a comforter inside her downtown Orlando apartment in October. Detectives found the security guard's fingerprint on her nightstand. In a newly released 71-page report, detectives searched Stephen Duxbury's phone and discovered he searched the internet on how to override the kind of lock that was on her door. A crime scene photo shows a keypad is used to get into her apartment. Detectives wrote the only logical explanation for the searches was to get into her place without her permission. The report gives a timeline leading up to the murder. Samsudean went drinking with her friends downtown. She gets back home around 1:45 in the morning. She's with Duxbury on security footage in Uptown Place until around 2:30. Duxbury told police he noticed her drunk but left her when she couldn't remember the code to get into her place. By 5 a.m., he's searching how to override the lock on her door. He's not seen on camera again for nearly 90 minutes. And the next time the cameras catch him, he's holding trash bags. Detectives said the bags match the ones in the victim's apartment. Detectives wrote in their report it's unknown how he finally managed to enter her apartment, but the website searches show he wanted to get into her place. He was employed to safely get her into her apartment. Instead, he used her impairment and his position to illegally enter her apartment and commit murder.
They've searched Duxbury's phone and found no link or prior communication between him and the victim.
We are hours away from the start of a murder trial for a former security guard accused of killing a young woman. Jury selection starts tomorrow in Stephen Duxbury's trial. Channel 9's Sierra Pubman is live outside the courthouse. And Sierra, the defense was given a blow when a judge said key pieces of evidence would not be thrown out.
And that evidence is going to be in. It includes some shoes that were found at the defendant's house, as well as some statements he made during a polygraph test. And earlier today, I was talking to our legal analyst, and he explains just how big of a deal this is. Stephen Duxbury's defense fought to keep statements their client made during a polygraph test, as well as these shoes reportedly found at his home that allegedly match marks at Sasha Samsudean's apartment, out of court. But the judge says they're in. Channel 9 legal analyst Bill Schaefer.
This is a big deal. A circumstantial evidence case is like a puzzle. You have to get all of those pieces of that puzzle into evidence so that you can show this defendant is guilty of what you charged him with.
During the trial, Schaefer says we can expect the defense will try to get more puzzle pieces thrown out.
Once jury selection begins, it's too late to make motions to exclude evidence. However, the defense during the trial will raise objections as that evidence comes in.
Duxbury is accused of raping and killing Samsudean back in 2015 here at the apartment complex where he worked as a security guard. He's reportedly the last person to see her. Pieces of key evidence, video showing the two together, and later video of the suspect throwing out trash bags the state says are similar to those owned by the victim. That plus his alleged fingerprint found inside Samsudean's apartment. Duxbury said he never entered.
The defendant's statement that he was never in that apartment is inconsistent with forensic evidence. That could be key to the state's case.
And to be clear, Lynn, it's only going to be the statements made during that polygraph test, not those test results that are going to be admitted into court.
Election just wrapped up for the day in the Stephen Duxbury murder case.
He's the guy accused of raping and murdering Sasha Samsudean while working as a security guard in the building where she lived. Channel 9's Field Sutton has been watching the jury selection process. He started doing that this morning in Field. They still have not picked the final jury pool yet.
No, they haven't, but they are certainly getting closer. The problem today has been that things are just moving slowly, given that so many people seem to have heard so much about this case. Today is the first day Stephen Duxbury is having to face his peers and begin answering for the mountain of evidence prosecutors piled up against him, claiming he took advantage of his access to a drunk woman's apartment, raped her, killed her, and then tried to cover it up. Duxbury smiled at times as potential jurors confronted their own preconceived notions about his high-profile case. Some of them told the judge they could only possibly be fair during the trial.
You can imagine that if you got on an airplane and you asked the pilot, are we going to get to Miami safely today? And he said, possibly. You might not be terribly convinced that you want to get on the plane.
It's not just people convinced of his guilt after 2 years of hearing about the gruesome allegations. The mom of a man falsely accused of a crime years ago told the court there'd better be proof.
I would be hard-pressed to convict anybody without DNA evidence, without being spotted on a camera.
The one potential problem with the case is simple. As far as we know, there is no eyewitness, no video placing Duxbury inside Samsudean's apartment. Instead, there's video of the two of them in the hallway and circumstantial evidence like Duxbury's alleged shoe and fingerprints inside the young woman's home to fill in the gaps.